Good morning. Today is the 26th day of September 2017. And we are continuing with our series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis. There are many, many more to come, and we are most gratified to hear your responses to this series. Initially, I had planned only to address it to young people who have written me about various topics. But now I see that it is universal in its appreciation, because these are only the words of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, and they ring with verity. Affection, Part 1. Sri Aurobindo. Affection, love, tenderness are in their nature psychic. The vital has them because the psychic is trying to express itself through the vital. It is through the emotional being that the psychic most easily expresses, for it stands just behind it in the heart center. But it wants these things to be pure. Not that it rejects the outward expression through the vital and the physical, but as the psychic being is the form of the soul, it naturally feels the attraction of soul to soul, the union of soul with soul, as the things that are to it most abiding and concrete. Human affection is obviously unreliable because it is so much based upon selfishness and desire. It is a flame of the ego, sometimes turbid and murky, sometimes more clear and brightly colored, sometimes tamasic, based on instinct and habit, sometimes rajasic, and fed by passion or the cry for vital interchange, sometimes more sattvic, and trying to be or look to itself disinterested. But fundamentally, it depends on a personal need or a return of some kind, inward or outward. And when the need is not satisfied, or the return ceases or is not given, it most often diminishes or dies, or exists only as a tepid or troubled remnant of habit from the past, or else turns for satisfaction elsewhere. On the other hand, human society, human friendship, love, affection, fellow feeling are mostly and usually, not entirely or in all cases, founded on a vital basis and are ego-held at their center. It is because of the pleasure of being loved, the pleasure of enlarging the ego by contact, mutual penetration of spirit with another, the exhilaration of the vital interchange which feeds their personality that men usually love. And there are also other and still more selfish motives that mix with this essential movement. There are, of course, higher spiritual, psychic, mental, vital elements that come in or can come in, but the whole thing is very mixed, even at its best. This is the reason why, at a certain stage, with or without apparent reason, the world and life and human society and relations and philanthropy, which is as ego-ridden as the rest, begin to pall. There is sometimes an ostensible reason, a disappointment of the surface vital, the withdrawal of affection by others, the perception that those loved, or men generally, are not what one thought them to be, and a host of other causes. But often the cause is a secret disappointment of some part of the inner being, not translated or not well translated into the mind, because it expected from these things something which they cannot give. It is the case with many who turn or are pushed to the spiritual life. For some, it takes the form of a vairagya, which drives them towards ascetic indifference and gives the urge towards moksha. For us, what we hold to be necessary is that the mixture should disappear and that the consciousness should be established on a purer level, not only spiritual and psychic, but a purer and higher mental, vital, physical consciousness in which there is not this mixture. There one would feel the true ananda of oneness and love and sympathy and fellowship, spiritual and self-existent in its basis, but expressing itself through the other parts of the nature. If that is to happen, there must obviously be a change. The old form of these movements must drop off and leave room for a new and higher self to disclose its own way of expression and realization of itself and of the divine through these things. That is the inner truth of the matter. In any case, human affection, whatever its value, has its place, because through it the psychic being gets the emotional experiences it needs until it is ready to prefer the true to the apparent, the perfect to the imperfect, the divine to the human. As the consciousness has to rise to the higher level, so the activities of the heart also have to rise to that higher level and change their basis and character. Yoga is the founding of all life and consciousness in the divine. So also, love and affection must be rooted in the divine, and a spiritual and psychic oneness in the divine must be their foundation. To reach the divine first, leaving other things aside, or to seek the divine alone, is the straight road towards that change. That means no attachment. It need not mean turning affection into disaffection or chill indifference. Friendship or affection is not excluded from the yoga. In yoga, friendship can remain, but attachment has to fall away, or any such engrossing affection as would keep one tied to the ordinary life and consciousness. Our experience is that it is only when both are in the true consciousness, centered around the divine, that there is some chance of a true meeting in the divine. Otherwise, with personal relation that forms, there comes in either disappointment or alienation, or else reactions that are not pure. But that is the nature of human vital affection. It is all selfishness, disguised as love. Sometimes when there is a strong vital passion, need or tie, then the person is ready to do anything to retain the affection of the other. But it is only when the psychic is able to get into the movement that there is real unselfish affection, or at least some element of it. Both the love for the mother, which you feel so strongly, and the other tendency of harmony and affection with those with whom you live or work, come from the psychic being. When the psychic intensifies its influence, this love for the mother becomes strong, and it is the main mover of the nature. But there is also a feeling of goodwill, harmony, kindness, or affection towards others, which also comes up, and is not so much personal as the result of the soul's inmost relation to all souls who are children of the mother. There is no harm in this psychic feeling. On the contrary, it creates happiness and harmony. It is only the vital love between persons that has to be rejected, because it draws away from full consecration to the divine. But this helps the growth of the soul into the mother's consciousness, and helps the work, and helps also the inner life to grow. This was a note, a letter to Sri Aurobindo. I have a deep regard for X and an inner affection for him. Now, when I begin to meditate by thinking of the mother, I sometimes see him meditating with us. This brings a happy feeling, yet I worry lest it should bring any harm in my sadhana. I hope it will not bring trouble. Sri Aurobindo. If you bring somebody in between you and the mother, it is bound to give trouble. And two more quotes from Sri Aurobindo. We are sorry that you have suffered so much. It was not to hurt you that the mother put the pressure, but to liberate. It has always been with a deep affection and sympathy with you in your struggles that she has tried to help you. I trust you will recover soon your ease of mind and peace. I will try to give you all the help possible. I hope also that you will accept from me and the mother our firm asseveration that our love and affection for you are undiminished, and that there has been no coldness on the mother's part, and no least diminution in my constant inner relation with you.